Hey everybody, it's me again. I just had a DiGiorno pizza and too much hard seltzer, so let's see where this takes us. I'm going to teach you how to make signatures. First, we are gathering some of the sturdier scrapbook paper that you can buy, and we're making our covers. So you can see I took the spine of the book and I traced it out, and I am going to cut it. And I'm cutting them both at the same time. None of this taking your time, baloney. We are cutting them at once, and I'm cutting it a little bit short of the line, you can see, because I don't want the size of the papers in the middle to be the exact size of the book. I want them to be a little bit smaller, like they are in a regular book. Trimming that up. See, you can see I'm lining it up and it's a little bit smaller than the edges of the book, which is what I want. And you're going to see that I continue to trim throughout the video. So I am folding each cover in half. I'm making two signatures. A signature is a group of papers, kind of like a notebook. So there's going to be two in this one. I'm just going over it with the ruler. You can buy things called bone folders to make your folds nice and crisp, but that sounds like a tremendous waste of money to me when I've got fingers and a ruler. So I'm folding my covers, and you can see that they will fit in there like so. I made two. You could make one. Now you can see how they're going to fit in there, and I'm going to sew them eventually to the side. Now, I first started out by sorting my scrapbook paper into different size piles. I found, since I'm making two signatures, an even number of bigger pieces of scrap papers that I had, things I had used for other ones and I had leftovers. So I gathered those up. I traced my cover on them, and then you can tell that I grabbed them all at once like a frickin' animal. I did not break these up into two groups so that my cuts weren't all janky. I did them all at once because we are not about perfection on this channel. If you are looking for perfection, probably go to someone's channel that isn't slightly buzzed. All right? Just saying. You can tell it's a little bit curvy-wurvy there. I'm going to fix that. So I traced on the cover so that these scrapbook papers are the same size as the cover. You're going to see that we combine a bunch of different size papers into these signatures, which makes them interesting. Now I take that whole big bundle of paper and fold it in half. Like I said, I don't do one by one because who's got time for that? Who has got time for that? So this last one that I'm folding, I folded separately because it wasn't exactly the same size as the other ones. Now I'm taking my piles and I'm separating them into two piles. These are the bigger papers for each of my signatures. I'm flipping them to and fro so that they're not all facing the same way. Because you'll see when I fold them into like a book kind of shape, you don't want all white facing one way and all pattern facing the other. You want it to be kind of back and forth. So I'm flipping through it, seeing how it looks. And you can tell I decide to flip some back. This is just where your eyeball comes in. And, don't get too worried about it. I'm slipping it into the cover, and you can see they just kind of slip in like that. These are like nesting dolls. You're putting the creases all in the same spot. Crease. I hate that word. It sounds so gross, doesn't it? Crease. Ugh. So doing the same thing for the second signature. Trying to see what looks best, flipping some around if I think there's too much white, but you can tell that I am just nesting them all together so that they're just all together. Way to go, Emily. You are such a teacher. And these are going to make the bulk of the main pages of both of our booklets, or signatures. I slipped it in the cover, and there are my 2 signatures so far. Now I am going down to my next smallest size of paper. I usually split mine up into like big size papers like I just did, like a medium size, and then a smaller size, and then junk, like I'll show you. So I'm calling these my medium size papers. And these are, like I said, just scraps, and I am just winging this by eyeball. I'm not measuring anything. We don't use rulers in this house. No. So I'm just ripping like, an animal and sorting them into piles according to which booklet I'm going to stick them in. And it's these different size papers that are going to add interest to your journals, to your junk journals, to everything. It's just going to be something unexpected. So it's not like a whole big thing of white paper. It's going to be different things, different scrapbook papers, different sizes, different things that you have that you found. So that's what I'm doing now. And they don't have to be all the same length, but it's helpful if they have enough height to them that they can be bound in. And you'll see what I mean in a couple of videos because this is taking longer than I anticipated. And this is where I just work in the littler pieces of paper in between the bigger ones. I just slide them in, again, like nesting dolls, kind of, to add interest, to break up white space or where I think it needs pattern. So now I'm doing it to the second signature. Ooh, I'm going to zoom you in so you get a good look. All right, so I'm just taking the papers that I had gotten from there, like the medium-sized papers, I'm calling them, and finding places to slide those in. And this is where your creativity and everything comes in. I just kind of picked these papers willy-nilly, off the cuff, because they were sort of vintagey looking, and that was the theme I was going with. So didn't put too much thought into it. So there's my second signature. There's my first one. And I'm giving it a little haircut. So once you put stuff in there, the things in the center are going to get shoved out a little bit more so that they kind of stick out on the edges, and just trim those edges. Now I'm folding up my small pieces of paper and sorting those into piles, and I'm going to stick those in the books. And these are just scraps. I don't even, sometimes I don't even neaten up my scraps. I just throw them in there because if you're making a junk journal, it's especially appropriate because it's freaking junk. Just throw it in there. If you're too anal to do that, you can trim it. It's okay. It will be okay. So now you'll see the smaller things that I slipped in. And these are smaller pieces of paper, and that just allow you another layer of creativity, another something to do something with. Those cards were from Goodwill. They were in a stationery set that I got for 99 cents, and they just looked old. They looked like something my grandma would have had in her credenza. Is that a thing? A credenza? I'm not really sure, but I think it is. It sounds like something a grandma would have. And it sounds like something that she had in hers. So now I'm going to do it the same thing to the other signature. These are leftovers from the last thing that I made, the letters I didn't like on my spine. Not on my spine, on the spine of the book. So sticking those in, seeing where they fit, flipping the pages. This is all about making yourself happy, whatever you think looks good. And now I'm giving it another haircut because, like I said, once you add more and more things, the middle pages are going to stick further out in the center. So you just have to trim it up so that your booklet is kind of even. So you can see on the edges how it sort of sticks out. And for some reason, that bugs the bejesus out of me, so I cut those things, and I probably keep cutting long after I should stop. I have done that to my son's hair, and it has resulted in a buzz cut because there was no going back. So my advice is to stop before you think you're done because you're probably going overboard. Okay, those are my signatures. Now we are adding the proverbial junk, because if this is going to be a junk journal, we have to add some junk. This is a photo pocket that I cut out of my current journal, and I am going to washi tape up the edge, and so that when I slip it in, it creates two pockets on either side of the center fold. You'll see. That sounded so confusing. Okay, so slip in some washi around the edge to seal up that. And then I'm putting another piece down that is just sort of for decoration. I don't know. It's not very decorative. It looks kind of like poop from here, but whatever. A lot of vintage stuff looks kind of poopy, but that's just my opinion. There's just like a lot of dull colors, but you know, I mean, mix it up and it all won't look like a turd. It'll all look good. Okay, so I'm finding where to put the photo pocket. I'm slipping it in there. There we go. Now I am ripping in half a piece of paper. I think this was an old piece of our desk calendar that sat in our kitchen. And I ripped a piece out of it and I am sticking it in that journal. So true junk, just that comes from around your house. What am I folding up now? Ooh, this is like baking paper that I put down on my desk so that I wouldn't get paint on my desk when I did a project a long time ago. And I kept the baking paper because I liked how you could see the paint around the edges and it looked cool. So I kept that scrap baking paper and now I'm cutting it up and I'm using it as junk for my junk journal. And these are the kind of things that make your junk journals feel good and like personal, like a hug. They make it feel like it's yours. And I'm giving it a trim just so that nothing's sticking out. There are my junk journals. And I think the last thing I'm going to add is these doilies that I found at the Dollar Tree, because it's just another layer of texture and garbage to add in there. So I'm just looking to see, and I'll slip it in wherever I think it might fit. There we go. All right. You can see I'm a little bit indecisive here. All right. So that is how to pick out the papers for your signatures. In my next video, I will show you how to sew them in. Please subscribe and thank you for your support.